Hi everyone, and welcome to Wordsmiths. My name is Jenna, and here we talk about elements of storytelling to help you with your own creative projects. Today we're going to talk about the hero's journey, an exciting, recognizable story structure that pretty much every grand adventure uses. Now, the hero's journey we're going to talk about is the shorter version, 12 steps. If you want to break it down more, look into the 17-step version by Joseph Campbell. You can think of the hero's journey overall as 3 acts. There's a departure, initiation, and return, or separation, ordeal, and unification. Basically, there's the ordinary world, the special world, and back home. The hero's journey mirrors the arc of a human life. You start young and not very confident, live and learn, gain skills, change, and reach a final sense of home. Because of this natural chain of events and personal growth, the hero's journey is seen across many different cultures' stories. And the example we're going to use today is Disney's Mulan. Ordinary world. This is your starting point, everyday life. It's home, a comfort zone. Your job is to introduce the hero. What's important to them? What are their current goals and sense of identity? Mulan's goal is to become a bride, kind of her only choice, but we can see she's not very comfortable with that role. This is the time to establish the hero as a regular human being and get your audience to see that they are relatable. You kind of do that for every main character you work with, though. So this is the get to know you stage in the ordinary status quo. Next, call to adventure or action. Something happens that changes the hero's world. For Mulan, her father is summoned to the army. The call threatens life as the hero knows it. For a couple other examples, the death of a loved one, a threat to their family, home, or community, an opportunity to pursue something interesting, maybe they simply stumbled into a bad situation. Any way it happens, the hero's ordinary life is thrown out of balance, and they're going to have to do something about it. There might be an initial rejection of the quest. Your hero's probably going to have a bunch of fears and doubts to overcome. They need a little mental preparation and time to make a decision, or they might need an extra push. The refusal or hesitation could result in some type of suffering. Maybe someone gets hurt. Mulan has a fight with her father. But eventually, the hero must accept the call to adventure. There wouldn't be a journey if they didn't. This step further humanizes the hero for your audience. So, your hero has accepted the journey, but they need guidance. They are woefully unprepared, so they need someone to help them along, who will give them training or insider information. Mulan has Mushu. The mentor or supernatural aid doesn't need to be a person. Tools, maps, or weapons also count. The point is they probably need a confidence booster, something to make them feel ready, like they can do this. Next comes crossing the threshold. This will be the event that takes the hero out of their ordinary world. A couple examples could be leaving home, obviously, a first fight, a first encounter with magic, facing a fear, or other new dangers. Mulan enters the army camp and meets her commander. Any crossing the threshold event could end in success or failure. That's up to you. Either way, it shows the hero's commitment to the journey. The quest has begun. This is also the end of the first act, so you can check yourself. Have you made a clear central conflict and done some character development? If so, you're on track. Moving into the second act, the main character will have tests, allies, and enemies. They're officially out of the comfort zone. They have to face a series of challenges to develop and test their skills. They'll gain friends and enemies and learn who to trust. At the same time, we get a deeper understanding of the hero's character, and we'll probably start to admire them as their true colors and hidden talents shine, like how Mulan is the only one to complete that pole climbing challenge. Now, I just want to touch on the temptation step because it's a favorite of mine. During this stage of the story, the hero might come up against a way out, a chance to turn back or maybe even join the dark side. They could have an opportunity to compromise the quest or an ally for their own gain. That makes a juicy conflict of interest, especially if your hero can work it out to suit their journey, like playing both sides. Whatever happens, it'll show your audience that your hero isn't infallible. They're still human. Next, approaching the inmost cave. This is a low point with high tension, kind of a calm before the storm. The hero has to prepare to face the biggest danger yet. The goal is probably in sight, and because that's a lot of pressure, they might need reassurance. All their anxiety, doubts, or stress might cause a disagreement or fight among their allies. This step reinforces the high stakes. Mulan and the troops discover the destroyed village and the defeat of the Imperial Army, where Shang's father died. There will be consequences should the hero and their friends fail. They're about to take on a high-risk situation, after all. And that high-risk situation is the ordeal. The hero faces the enemy or their greatest fear. It depends on the nature of the story, but the main character will have to use the skills and insight they've gathered so far to overcome this brush with death. Something will probably be lost or almost lost, and that will give the hero a rebirth of sorts. Mulan faces Shan Yu, and it's discovered that she's a woman. This is a turning point. Remember, a turning point means change. What happens from here on out will give the audience a sense that things are very different now. It's a game changer, and the main event of Act 2. No matter how the ordeal ends, there will be some kind of reward or consolation, which can be material or immaterial. They could earn special objects or knowledge to help complete the quest, possibly the return of a loved one or reconciliation with someone, or the means to get back home. For Mulan, her life is spared, and because of her actions, Shan Yu's army is down to 5. This stage gives some immediate, and likely an idea of future, consequences of the ordeal. So, here's your next checkpoint, the end of Act 2. Your hero has faced a major challenge and is in the midst of personal growth. But the hero can't rest yet. They still have the road back. The journey home might still be dangerous. It could be a threat to their home, or the enemy wasn't fully defeated, like how Mulan discovers that some of the Huns survived. Or the main character might need an extra push to return home, which makes for a second threshold. They aren't quite the same person as when the journey began. The important thing is that the road back makes the hero face the aftermath of the ordeal. Resurrection. This is the last major challenge for the hero, an ultimate ordeal. The state of the world is at stake now, or there are multiple lives in danger. This is the event that will give the main character true hero status. They face the danger with a willingness to sacrifice their life because they know there are things more important than they are. This event proves that they've retained the skills and knowledge gathered on their journey. It solidifies the fact that they've grown. You can also think of this as a blending of their ordinary world self and their new world special self. Mulan defeats Shan Yu without the guise of being a man, and is recognized as the hero she is. And finally, the hero can return home. They have a new reward for the end of the journey, again, material or immaterial. It's likely to be healing in nature. It restores something lost or damaged. Mulan reconciles with her father, has more confidence, and her love interest appears to be won over. It could be a less personal reward too, something meant to be shared. Or maybe it's as simple as the hero completing an original goal. This last step rebalances their life and sense of identity, and now the journey has come to an end, ultimately successful and life-changing. This hero's journey model is only a guide though, so certain steps might be missing or out of order, but generally it's pretty straightforward. And with that, it's time for prompts. For the first one, the main character doesn't know their true origins. One day, someone from the special world, hero or villain side, recognizes them or figures out their identity. Create a unique meeting for a call to adventure, like writing a first chapter. Now, you could take this prompt from either character's perspective, use whoever calls to you more as your main character, but keep in mind they would probably be at different stages of adventure. For the second one, the main character is attending a public event with some of their friends when they see a mysterious person that they are suddenly and inexplicably drawn to. Before they can reach the person, or have an extended interaction, they disappear or escape. How might this experience suck the main character into an adventure they never expected? And last, choose your favorite character and map their story with the hero's journey. Even if the story doesn't have a lot of concrete action, you might see that their character development follows a hero's journey arc. That's all today. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, keep reading and stay inspired.